Today I'm down here in County Waterford on the beautiful Copper Coast with father and son Ned and Eamon Morrissey, who farm here near Dunhill. Ned and Eamon are in a partnership and run a busy sheep and tillage farm.
I'm farming here with about 45, maybe even 50 years. Over the space of maybe 4 or 5 years back in the 90s, we changed over from cattle to sheep, and also as the years went by expanded the tillage side of things. We're very dependent on one another, particularly since we set up the partnership. We would have, I suppose, reversed roles in a way, in that a couple of years ago I would have been doing more of the physical work, as in, say, filling in the race here. Eamon would have been filling it in, I would have been doing the dosing and the handling and the heavier work. Now we tend to do a lot of it the other way around.
We'd be doing maybe 2 batches. You could do maybe 450 or 500 lambs in a day.
It's quite a lot.
So you can imagine what that could be like on the body. The lambs would be lower down, so you'd be reaching down here, reaching down further with the smaller lambs, so you're putting more strain on the back, on the shoulder, on the whole body, bending down on the knees.
When you have a lot of load going through one shoulder for quite a long period of time or throughout the day, that often if you don't have the strength there, you can run into issues, let's say, with overuse injuries in the tendons and muscles inside the shoulder itself. When I talk about range of motion, Eamon, I suppose I mean basically how much the shoulder can move itself. Okay. So basically, there's a couple of your shoulders, it's a very free joint, so it works in lots of different ways. It goes up and down, it goes out to the side, up and down, it goes backwards and forwards, and it goes rotation in and out like that. And a lot of different muscles working at different times. So depending on what movement you're doing, certain muscles might be working. I know a lot of people maybe talk about the rotator cuff and how important the rotator cuff is in rotating out and rotating in as well. And these are all, very functional movements, and I suppose it's important that we're strong in each of these movements.
January is one of the quieter months of the year here. As we move on into February, we're starting to get ready for lambing, which starts the first week in March. That's a very intensive time, 3 to 4 weeks of very intensive physical work. March, April, May are very busy sowing crops, looking after crops. Harvest will start around mid-July and it could drag on there until maybe the first or second week in September. At that point, you're only about 2 to 3 weeks away from starting the sowing season again. You could spend 4 to 6 weeks from October into November sowing crops. That's where the repetitive actions of driving any machine comes in. Like, I tend to get a sore right shoulder from working the joystick all day and pressing buttons and moving forward and back. On your typical job, if there is such a thing as a typical job, you're changing gears here, and you're controlling your hydraulics from over here, which control the machine on the back. And I suppose you're constantly twisting, turning.
There's quite a lot of repetitive strain here between the shoulder and between the neck and the shoulder, or the neck and the spine, let's say the upper spine and the middle spine, as you're twisting and turning. You can see that right shoulder is just so important to you functionally, to do all the things that you need to do here on the farm. A GAA player, a hurler or a footballer, they go back before they get ready to go into the season. They have the pre-season. It's not everyone's favourite time of the year, but I suppose you're getting yourself ready for that big block of work that that you're going to have to do. We could probably take something from that as well, with regards to practicing getting those range of movement exercises maybe into your day, making sure that you have the mobility or the flexibility in the spine to be able to continuously do that for the day, so you're not getting sore and stiff.
Have you sought out professional help in terms of that shoulder for those aches and pains caused by that repetitive action?
I'd be doing exercises fairly regularly to help build up muscles that have gone weaker. You're trying to stay as fit and healthy as you can.
Just the fact of doing it and going about it, not saying I'll do it next week or go about it the following week. If you do it when you need to do it, it'll help you over time.
We'll assess every farmer appropriately. We'll often prescribe them a rehabilitation plan where they work on things, let's say their strength or their range of movement around the shoulder or around the knee, the hip, the ankle, the lambing season or the harvest season or the calving season. You see farmers under quite a lot of stress, struggling with sleep, all things we know that are going to increase their pain and worsen their function around the farm. It is something that is very, very important that each farmer builds himself up and addresses any issues they have, let's say in those downtime periods where they might have a bit more time, because once these heavy seasons come around, it's quite hard to work on their strength and work on their range of movement.